Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to Two Dummies That Just Watch, a sports podcast between friends. This is episode number 4. I am one of your hosts, Will Hernandez, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mr. LeeJay Parrilla. LeeJay is wearing his Knicks hat today. What is going on, sir?
Y'all better recognize.
For the audio listeners, for like a couple of seconds there, LeeJay was pointing at his Knicks hat. So
That's what I
I've
decided
got
tonight.
on.
That's what I decided tonight.
Gotcha.
That's
Yeah,
how I was feeling.
I've got on the Portland Sea Dogs hat today, and I'm doing that twofold. One, I'm trolling Yankees fans because if y'all don't know, the Portland Sea Dogs are the AA affiliate of the Boston Red Sox. And number 2, I just like the way the hat looks. It's probably one of the best logos in minor league baseball with the sea dog. I don't even know what the hell that is, to be quite honest with you. Some kind of seal. I'm not.
Who the hell?
Exactly.
Probably some. That's what they call the humans in the 5 boroughs of New York. Sea dogs. Animals.
Christ. We're gonna get to that a little later on, based on our halftime topic. But before I do that, let me just tell you something. This is kind of a follow-up from last week with our halftime discussion about these asshole New York drivers. And today, I don't know, a couple of hours ago, went to go get something at the supermarket to cook for tonight. And when I'm coming back, on the way back, almost got into a road rage incident with somebody because they decided to play stupid shit and tried to cut me off. So I had to like cut them off to stop them from cutting me off. And then they somehow got in front of me, slowed down on purpose. I'm honking my horn. And then I did a maneuver that was probably very fucking dangerous to get in front of him. And I got in front of him, and he slowed down to slow him down. And then we got to a red light, and there were 2 cars in front of me. And he just basically got from behind me, ran through the red light, and I can see him in the front of me being an asshole to everybody else. So I don't know who you are, but fuck you, first of all. You're a piece of shit, and you're exactly what we talked about last week.
That sounds amazing. I was probably sleeping on my sofa at that time.
Unbelievable. Oh, boy. All right, couple of housekeeping notes just to get us started here. Don't forget that we are on social media, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it this week. All those links are in the podcast description. So if you want an easy way to follow us, you can do that. We're also on patreon.com/Two Dummies Sports Podcast. And y'all failed us this week because we opened it up. We made it free. And nobody else asked the question except for Mr. Eric Pim 8. So shout out to Eric Pim 8 for
taking advantage of his free.
Yeah, well, he does pay.
Oh, he does, but
yeah,
he got his free one.
Yeah. Well, he's still getting charged $5 a month, so it's not exactly free. But listen, I just want to take a minute just to kind of go over the Patreon stuff again, because I don't know if some people listen. It was my idea to do this because I'm not expecting us to become rich off of this endeavor. I mean, would it be nice to line our pockets with something? Yes. I mean, I am. There are other ways as far as like sponsorships and shit and stuff are concerned, but the Patreon is more of a way to help people interact with us, support us, pay for our podcast hosting stuff every month, pay for our clips package that we use. Thankfully, our video platform is paid for the whole year already, so don't have to worry about that. But again, there are 2 levels, $3, $5. Basically, the $3 level gets you the ability to ask questions every week. You'll get access to 1 or 2 extra shows a week. LeeJay and I have to think about what we're going to do for the show for next week. And the $5 level, you get all those perks, plus you'll get access to getting a shout out on the podcast, like Mr. Eric Pim 8, who also has a question. And we'll get to his question later because it has to do with the Mets. And I want to save the baseball talk for the second half of the show because I'm really pissed off about what happened the past couple of days. As I'm sure you are too.
Very.
Yeah. Okay. Over here making predictions that are not coming true. So
They should have definitely came true.
yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Shoeball, whatever the hell that guy's name was. Jesus Christ.
All right. So NFL training camp is upon us. Both the Giants and Jets reported this past week. We're already seeing, I don't know, chatter coming out of both camps. I figured the way we can kind of ease ourselves into this is we'll talk about the Jets first, then we'll talk about the Giants, and that will lead us into talking about Hard Knocks episode 4 because I've got a lot to say about that episode, and it's fresh in my mind because I just watched it this afternoon. Once the Mets were getting their asses kicked, I was like, okay, I'm done with this. I can watch Hard Knocks now and get that out of the way before we start recording. But, sir, there were a couple of things, 2 to 3 things that I saw about some big stories that were coming out of Jets training camp. Now, if you want to put stock in the training camp, we're not here to say one way or the other. I think both of us can agree. Some of the stuff that happens in training camp is kind of doesn't matter in some ways. Though I do think that once the preseason games start, there might be some more clarity on both teams about positions because from what I understand, a lot of head coaches right now, they're willing to put their starters in right off the bat because they feel as though they need to get as many reps as they can get in heading into the regular season because don't forget now there's one less preseason game. And if we ever go to an 18-game season, there's going to be another less preseason game. And I think you'll see more starters playing in the preseason. I don't know whether Saleh or Dybala are going that route. I haven't heard one way or the other. But anyway, I've talked enough. Are there some things that are standing out to you right now with now that Jets training camp is in full swing?
Not really much, to be honest. There's 2 things. I'm tired of talking about Aaron Rodgers and his stupid Egypt trip. You guys have nothing else to talk about. Just don't talk. I don't really care. It's stupid. He went to Egypt. It's not gonna have any effect on how he plays this year. That's it. Training camp, yeah, is good. I would like to see him and the receivers, build some chemistry moving forward. Blah blah blah. I'm tired of hearing about it. Training camp is what it is. What it is. That's what I really got to say about that. Another thing is Hassan Reddick. Listen here,
I had
dude.
that down.
Listen here, dude. You went to China, Japan, wherever you was at, wearing your kimono or whatever they call it, with your stupid Chinese slippers, whatever the hell you were wearing. That they walking around looking like a doofus. You too. You could do whatever you want. You could go wherever you want. You could wear whatever you want. That's not my point. My point is they made a trade for you. You still have a year on your contract. Like basketball, football, what? This is the only job where you don't have to live up to your contract to what you signed for.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. He's set to make guaranteed 14 or 15 million. I will never see that in my lifetime. Yo, come in, perform, and get paid. If the Jets don't pay you, somebody else will. So here's what I got to say as a fan. If you don't show up to camp, I don't really give a shit. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Jets have enough pieces on defense, and he's the newbie coming in. I don't care.
Right.
And guess who else shouldn't care? The Jets. Quite frankly. Let's move on. Whatever. You want to sit out for the whole year? That's on you, buddy. You see how that worked out for Le'Veon Bell? It didn't work out well.
I just don't understand. To get to the Reddick thing, because I did have that down as one of the things here. So for those who don't know, just to kind of recap, the Jets acquired Reddick. He's 29 years old, by the way, from the Philadelphia Eagles in the offseason. And the thing right now is that he's looking for a new contract, as this is the last year of his deal, which carries a $14.25 million salary in 2024. And the fact now that he's missing camp, he is subject to a $50,000 fine for every day that he misses cap. So, buddy, you're losing money. That's kind of like the first thing. I will say one thing. I this is one of the notes I wrote down about this. It's funny because you and I are on the same page about the two topics. I had down Rodgers too, and I actually have something to say about Rodgers, but I can understand why this guy wants to get paid, right? From that perspective, because last 4 seasons he's had double-digit sack
Yeah,
totals,
he's been good.
11,
He's been good.
16, 11, and 12 and a half. And his original deal was for 3 years, 45 million with the Eagles. And here's the thing that's funny. So when he got traded in March, and this came from The Athletic, this is what he told reporters as it relates to his contract, that whatever happens, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to give it my all no matter what.
That doesn't seem
I don't
true to
know.
me.
Well, that's what I mean. It's just like it. I don't know. I don't know how you can prove yourself for a new contract if you're not on the field getting ready for what's essentially your walk season, which is that's the kind of the part of it that I don't understand. I mean, I agree with you. The Jets shouldn't really care about this. Like you said, you seem to think that they have enough already in camp that they don't necessarily have to worry about this going forward. And when he's done doing what he's doing and finally gets himself in camp, he's gonna be behind, and we'll
And to your
we'll
point,
see what
I
happens.
know what you're saying about his previous years and with Philadelphia, he proved himself. I think the Jets, in their mind, they're saying, "All right, you did it for them, do it for us. We're
Yeah,
essentially only asking you to do it for 1 year for us." Here's the last thing I'll say. If he does what he's been doing, I'm pretty confident. If the Jets don't give him a contract, somebody will, and that's what you're
right.
supposed to do in your last year. Ball out, make
Yeah,
them pay you, whether it be the Jets or somebody else. That's it. That's it. Whatever.
yeah. That's the thing I don't understand. Just like show up and do what you're supposed to do. So we'll see how long this goes on for. But going back to Rodgers, I gotta laugh at this shit because this guy, first of all, say what you want about what happens in training camp, right? They're doing 7-on-7s, they're doing 11-on-11, they're not wearing pads right now. It's very early on. But I'm reading some of the stuff for the recaps of the practices. Bro, he's fucking like going 9 for 9 on in these drills. You see some of the clips online. He's not any worse for wear for missing training camp, for missing a mini camp. So again, why are we still talking about
Yeah, why are we
this?
talking? It's so stupid. I think what you said, they have nothing else to write about. There's nothing else to write about right now, so they keep going back to this. It's so every time I hear something like that on the radio or on TV, I just mute it. And I said, let me hurry up till they finish. I unmute it and I move. I don't want it. It's so stupid. It's asinine. I, I don't know if you remember what did I tell you? I think I mentioned it last episode. When the Jets traded for him, I'll admit it. And right now we still don't know. I didn't agree with the
Yeah,
move.
nobody knows.
Right?
Yeah,
I didn't agree with it. You remember that.
yeah,
But here's another thing. You guys are acting like this guy's brand new. They created him in a chamber somewhere, and here's Aaron Rodgers, and he does what he wants. Aaron Rodgers has been doing what he wants for years, and
he's
that was
he's
my
like the
biggest problem.
he's
He
like
does
the
what he
fly.
wants. He does what he wants. He did it in
Yeah,
Green Bay. That's part of the reason they got rid of him. He does what he wants. But when it comes to playing football, you don't hear about this during the season. He's not doing this. This stuff he does like off season, this
yeah,
training camp
it's
thing,
true.
blah blah blah.
It's a good
Like I
point.
said, as long as he plays football well in the regular season and helps the team that I go for a win, Egypt, like I say, Egypt, Shmeegypt, the moon. I don't care. I don't care. It's stupid. Stop talking about it. You're bored. Do better.
Yeah, what's going to happen on September, what is it, the 9th, when he shreds the 49ers defense and the Jets win their first game of the season? Then this is just a
They're not even going to mention it. They're not even going to talk about it. They're going to stick their tail between their legs and move on. But the problem is, go flip that. He does bad, let's say. Oh, it's because he went to Egypt. I'm going to be, oh my.
That's got nothing to do with it.
Oh my God. Stop. It's stupid. It's not one way or another. It's not mutually exclusive. He's not going to do great because he went to Egypt, and he's not going to do bad because he went to Egypt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't understand why people are like
they're hell bent on this shit. It's stupid.
The correlation, yeah. It's slow, bro. I told you it's slow. It's the summertime. There's nothing to talk about. It's just slow right now. So the media sees like this little something out there, and they are fastening their heels, digging their heels in, and kind of going all in on this. So I don't know. It is what it is. So I didn't see any injuries coming out of Jets camp if I'm not mistaken.
No.
So which is good. That's good for the first week. So yeah. When's the first preseason game for them? When is that?
I want to say exactly? August 10th.
Let me just look that up.
Which is a Saturday?
That's correct. Against the Washington Commanders.
Commanders, right? Yeah, Commanders.
Yeah. Noon game on a
trying to
Saturday.
go to that one on the 24th. That's the third and final one.
Oh, against the Giants. Yeah. Speaking of the Giants, so it looks like from everything that I've been reading and looking at this past week, it seems like they're going all in on Neighbors being a major focal point of the offense. And it kind of goes in line with what we saw in this past week's episode of Hard Knocks, to where once they figured out that they were not going to get a quarterback, they weren't going to be able to move up, then it came down to, okay, let's get, I was about to call him Manning. Let's get Jones. Well, they did talk about Manning in that episode. Let's get Jones a playmaker. So this is where the whole training camp thing, I don't know if you saw some of the clips, but Burrow was getting open in tight spaces. There was that one clip, I don't know if you saw, where he ran like a kind of like a corner route. I think it didn't show the whole clip because they only showed him catching the ball, but it looked like he went up the seam and then cut to the left corner of the end zone.
I've seen that one.
And caught a ball over his shoulder from Daniel Jones. And I think that was, if I'm not mistaken, well, they're showing, the thing that I saw here was a slant route, and he was covered by Trey Hawkins. So you look at the comments on some of the SNY posts and some of the posts from these Giants fans accounts. Everybody's like, "Oh, we're the Jones haters now. Yeah, look how good he's looking in practice." But that's the whole point. It's fucking practice. God, it's fucking practice. This is the thing that I don't understand. Like, why? We've already talked about how many chances this guy has had. And now we're coming into this training camp, and he looked rusty, apparently, from all the reports that I read in his first two practices. And he looked a little better later on in the week. So, he's shaking off that rust. But sir, you tell me, as a Giants fan, as a Jones kind of hater, because I am. We all know that. I'm not gonna make any I'm not gonna hide that throughout the season. What do you kind of make of how he's been performing this week in the first week of training camp?
Like we said, and like my man said, it's practice. Shout out to Allen Iverson. It's stupid. No one cares. It's dumb. You're supposed to do these things in practice, right? If you're wide open, you're supposed to hit your target. If there's no one in front of you with a rush that you're going to see every game, You're supposed to complete every pass.
Mm-hmm.
This training camp stuff is so overrated, man. To me, this is more like, to me, training camp is good for like new players coming in. You're trying to build chemistry. You're trying
Yes.
to see how they run. Certain routes, timing, stuff like that. But you could walk through that stuff and then gradually run and then do it full speed.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, I get all of that. But this ain't a football game. This ain't a football game. Is he gonna make that same throw when there's two guys in his face?
That's what I keep saying to
The
myself.
chances are probably very slim.
Exactly.
Can,
Well, sir, you
Go ahead.
you I was going to say you share with me what Tiki Barber said about training
He
camp. You
said
told
it.
me on
I don't
Friday.
know.
Yeah.
It's not an exact quote. I don't. It's not exact words. I'm paraphrasing, but he was essentially saying this is what you're supposed to do. He doesn't understand the whole excitement behind training camp when you see these certain kind of throws, and then when you look up at the screen, there's no one there. There's no one
Right.
in his face. He's throwing. He's wide open. It's so overrated. It's so stupid. And to base it off of that, and fans, we're s- we're like so quick to want to prove somebody wrong. And this is what.
Right.
This is like the tool that you want to use to prove us wrong. No,
Yeah. 7-on-7s,
no.
11-on-11 with no pads on.
When he
Come
does
on.
that in the regular season, and you want to have people eat crow, it's fine. But let me tell you something. His own GM didn't have faith in him.
Yeah. And let's get to that because let me get my notes here because I have a lot to say about this past episode of Hard Knocks. So they kind of fooled me in a way, and I'm going to tell you why. Shout out to the people who produce Hard Knocks because they start the show showing Daniel Jones, whatever, going through his workouts and going through his progressions, and I'm thinking, oh, here we go. We're going to actually hear from Daniel Jones as he's getting himself ready for training camp. Guess what? We didn't hear shit from Daniel
You got duped.
Jones. Yeah, we got duped big time. And I made my note here. I said to myself, oh, here we go. We're going to address the elephant in the room and Daniel Jones. And that did not happen. But it was clear. It was clear in this episode that the Giants wanted to draft a quarterback badly, almost to the point of seeing what the Pats were doing till about 5 hours before the draft started. If you see, there was that one instance where he calls up it wasn't the GM, it was somebody else.
For the
He
Patriots.
calls up, the Patriots guy, and the Pats said, no, we're good where we are because we really need a quarterback. And obviously they do. The Pats were in dire
They
need.
gave him like some outrageous. If we
Yeah,
thought
yeah,
about it, we want like a 1, 2, 3 this year, and we'll
yeah.
start with
It's
next year a 1 and a
insane.
2.
It's insane. It's freaking insane. So let me get your thoughts first on because there's one instance in this program, this episode I want to talk about, which I was like, oh man. And this is when they were going through the quarterbacks of the last 10 drafts, and you see all those names and how many fucking
What did
busts
I tell you on
there have
Friday
been.
when we hung out? What I told
Yes.
they were essentially saying what I was saying. I'm looking at that
Yes.
list, and what did Dabo said? I think he said, um, how many were misses? He was like a
Yeah.
lot, or whatever the
Yeah.
question was, or
And how
whatever
many of
his
those
answer
guys are,
was.
yeah. And how many of those guys are not even on a team anymore?
From Jones's draft, I think
Yes.
6 of the 8 are not even on the
Yeah.
same team anymore.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why. This is what you and I were speaking of on Friday. It's and if you ask me, if you want me to be honest, the only person on that list was Mahomes. You can't count these other guys yet because when you're drafted, if you're drafted in the top 10, let's say the top 10, right? Even the
Mm-hmm.
top 5, but let's go with the top 10, and you're a quarterback and you're talked about. I don't draft you as a quarterback to win me playoff games, especially when everyone says that's the most important position in all the sports.
Mm.
So I'm not drafting you as a quarterback to win me playoff games. So a lot of those people on the list, they still haven't done anything. Great MVPs, blah blah. They haven't won playoff games. Some of them haven't even won playoff games, and we're ready to put them in the Hall of Fame. The only guy that's deserving is Patrick Mahomes. That's it.
That's it.
Period.
That's it.
Stop. There's no comma, semicolon. There's not a question. No, it's period, and we all stop with the nonsense. It's oh my god, it's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. But I wanted this hard. There's only one thing I wanted to say. I really don't have much to say because I'm ready to move on from Hard Knocks, and now they're starting to repeat themselves, and it's getting weird.
A little bit, yeah.
This is a quote for him. This was like toward the end of the episode, I believe. Shane, if we don't get a QB here, we are rolling with Jones, and we're going to try to get him a weapon. We good with that? Close quote. What does that tell you? What
They don't
would have
have a
happened
lot of.
if they got a quarterback? That's the question I ask.
Yeah, I don't know. You groom him until he's ready, I guess.
To me, I'm like, if you drafted this guy, was he starting?
Damn.
If we don't get a QB here, we are rolling with Jones. We are rolling with Jones. If we don't get a QB here, it's like, all right, we don't get one, then we go with Jones. But if we get one, we're not rolling with Jones.
Wow, that's interesting that you surmised that from. Wow, I got to think about this now.
Around I would say maybe
I remember him
34-minute
saying that,
mark, maybe 35 minutes, right before the end of the episode. That's how I took it. And that was right after, I believe, the scene that you're talking about where they're breaking and moving stuff around. If these guys don't go here, if this guy don't go here.
Yes,
It was right at the end of that segment. He said that, and they broke to another clip.
Interesting. That would have been really ballsy if you would have drafted one of these guys like a May or something that early, or Jaden Daniels, and he would have been the starter coming out of. That's ballsy, man.
That's how I took it.
That's freaking really ballsy. Wow, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that particular thing and just listen to the way he says it, because that was interesting. I want to go back to that list because I wrote down some names that they were showing. Johnny Football, Teddy Bridgewater, Jameis Winston,
oh boy,
Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. Was it Joe Lynch? I think it was the other one.
Lynch.
Paxton Lynch.
He was like,
that's the Saints
guy,
right?
He was in a lower part of the first round, but he was drafted by
the Saints, right?
No, I want to say the Broncos, but I'm not. I think it was the Broncos. I think.
What is he doing these days?
The last time I saw him, he was in that the Rock, was that the XFL? I think he was in.
No.
The last time I saw him, and that was a couple years ago. Whenever it started, I think he was in that league. Shit. He was in one of those leagues. Let me see. He's in one of those leagues. He was in one of those. That's where I saw him last.
Paxton Lynch. He's a free agent right now.
Oh yeah, goody.
He's only 30 years old.
I'm a free agent too. What does that mean?
Can you imagine?
I played in McCarrion Park.
I can't imagine. It's funny. There's a YouTube. People are brutal. There's a YouTube video here doing a search. Why did Paxton Lynch become a bust? Damn. Because
he wasn't evaluated properly. He sucked.
I gotta say though, one observation I did have from watching this episode was when they were all traveling in that little plane, which I could.
Oh my God, bro!
I don't have.
I'm surprised that you brought that up. I was like, I hate flying as it is.
I was thinking about you when I saw that.
My chest started hurting. I was like, how the hell are they flying in that little Tylenol capsule? Because that's what it looked like. No way I was flying that thing. No way.
For those, if everybody's in to see, like, we call them crop dusters, yes. They're just like one aisle and everybody's getting into the plane. And I said to myself, I can't imagine, because they were going all over the country in that thing, basically.
Yeah, they were just going back and forth to the different,
the college pro days. And I'm just thinking, that's got to get fucking tiring after a while. Just that life, man, of being on the road during that time and constantly being on the go. And I mean, how many different times are you going to watch a guy running 40 and run some routes?
Mm-hmm.
It was interesting, the neighbor stuff on that day when they were there. Obviously he's going to look good in, on these pro day things. Then they have all these QBs and wide receivers come visit them. And I didn't know you can do that. I learned that.
Oh yeah, they
Watching
picked
this
like,
episode.
was it like 30
30.
players? That's
Yeah, it
30
was
players
30
they were looking
players.
at. Yeah,
You can't have more than 30 players visit, which I was like, oh, that's super fucking interesting.
I didn't know that
So
either.
yeah, I thought that was cool. The other thing I made a note about Mara. This guy's like the fucking Godfather in some ways,
Looks like
where
Skeletor.
yeah, like so. Here's the thing I'm getting from him. He's an active owner, but he's not.
Yeah,
And what I mean by
He says, he gives his opinion. He says but for the most part, it looks like he lets them do their job, which I
yeah,
could appreciate.
he lets them do their job, and I don't know. I think it's cool that he's constantly like checking in with them.
Mhm.
And then fucking Steve Tisch comes out of nowhere. I haven't seen this guy the whole freaking season yet. And they're sitting in the office on the draft day. They're all wearing these fucking nice suits.
Mhm.
And they're talking about, like you said before, they going, well, this guy goes here, this guy goes there.
Mhm.
This is what we're gonna do. I find a lot of this stuff very fascinating. So but I thought it was interesting that both of his older kids wanted quarterbacks. Thought that was kind of funny.
Oh yeah, when
They were like,
yeah.
they were like, fuck Jones in a way. Yeah, I think that's really it.
Real
And
quick,
it looks,
I saw
yeah,
something on Instagram today.
yes.
Speaking about quarterbacks, real quick, and this I'm gonna get into this later on when we get closer to football season. But I saw this real quick on Instagram, like I said.
Sure.
And shout out to Rich Eisen, because that's whose page I saw it on.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna give you some numbers, and I'm gonna ask you what you think this is.
Oh shit.
55 million.
Wait, are we playing a game right
This
now?
is called, yes. This is gonna be the segment. Let's play a game.
Yeah.
This is
Okay,
this is annual salaries. 55 million, 55 million, 55 million, 53.1, 53, 52.5, 52, 51. Combined playoff record 16 and 17. Combined Super Bowls 3. Combined Super Bowl wins 0. The caption is paying and hoping ... This
is a current player salary.
Those are 8 salaries I just ringed off. How would you title
Oh,
this?
I see.
What I just gave you, because he titled it.
So these are NFL quarterbacks
That's part of it. There you go.
that are a combined whatever and whatever in the Super Bowl.
16
and 17
playoffs, combined Super Bowls 3,
And
Super Bowl win 0. And the caption's paying and hoping ... And how did he title this? Who are these people?
Shit. I don't know. You tell me.
The new top 8 annually paid QBs in the NFL.
Jesus Christ. That's insane.
Off of what?
Do you have the names?
I do.
I want to hear the names. Let's go.
Let me go back.
Yes.
Let me bear with me. I'm going to find it again.
We got to hear
number
the names
1
here. Let's go.
Newly re-signed Jordan Love.
Yeah, he got paid, by the way.
Trevor Lawrence. Joe Burrow. Tua. Goff. Herbert. Lamar. And Jalen Hurts. Now, if you want to be fair and say at least some of those quarterbacks on that list have gone to NFC championships, AFC championships, and gone to Super Bowls, and you're hoping to get back because they showed you the good run, I'll rock with you with that. But the overall point is that these are the top 8 annually played QBs. This doesn't make sense. They haven't won anything. That's the point. I think that's the point he's trying to make, which is why he put paying and hoping.
Damn, I forgot to do some of my timestamps here. Now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, talking to myself. That's fascinating because who are the guys that made the Super Bowl? Burrow,
Hurts.
Right? Hurts,
Burrow, and
who's the other one there in that list? Goff, right?
No, he didn't go to. Oh yes, Goff. Because when he was with the Rams. When he was with the Rams.
Right. Damn, bro. That's insane. And you think about a guy like Lamar Jackson. We've been talking about this guy for what? How many years now? And he still hasn't.
He's won a couple MVPs. Kudos to him. But he gets to the. Listen, you do it to everybody else. I don't want to hear about race or we're picking on him because he's black. No one cares.
No, it's got nothing to do
It
with
has nothing to
that.
do with it. But they're quick to do that when
Sure.
people criticize him for not winning playoffs games. And they'll tell you, oh, but this person hasn't won in a playoff. No. Let's not do that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. He's a quarterback that when he makes it to the playoffs, guess what he does? He
Shits the bed.
chokes.
Yeah.
Because guess what? If it was, let's play hypothetical, even though I hate playing it, let's flip it. You'll be putting him on a pedestal. If he won 2 Super Bowls already, the MVP,
Oh, of
won a
course.
bunch of playoff games. And remember, you guys will always say, you'll never say that he's a quarterback. Forget about everything else. You'll keep saying black quarterback.
Yes, right.
And to me,
Yeah.
that's racist.
Holy shit. Yeah, we went there this week.
Yep. Because people love to drive that home. I don't care. He's a quarterback.
Yeah.
He could play. I don't care what his skin color is.
Right.
But everyone on the other side is the ones that try to start these topics. We're not going down this rabbit hole. Let's move
look
on.
how much. Yeah, and look how much. But look, I will say one thing before we move on. Look how much praise that people give to Patrick Mahomes. I don't give a shit that he's black. He's just a great quarterback.
I want him on my team. That's what I could tell you.
Yeah, exactly.
Black, white, maroon, yellow, beige. I don't care. Green. Who cares? It's stupid. But that's how you like to drive your points home. It's stupid.
Right. That's the narrative.
You guys start
exactly.
you guys start that corny narrative, and you start the beef between both sides because that's what you want to say. Take a walk.
Well, that transitions nicely into the NBA taking a walk on TNT. So
see ya.
Yeah. Let me just pull up this article here. This was on NBC News because it's just kind of weird. This whole situation with the NBA and Amazon and Warner Brothers Discovery has gotten a lot of play in mainstream media because it's a huge deal. Because and the main thing here is this, and this is from the NBC article. Fans will have to subscribe to 2 streaming platforms, Peacock and Amazon Prime, in order to access the complete slate of games. The NBA will still offer its League Pass subscription service. Like I have said, you don't need the fucking League Pass anymore.
No. Unless you did mention,
yeah,
if you live on another coast and your team is over here, whatever the case may be.
If you're that invested in a single team, then yeah, you still need to get the League Pass. But if you're invested in a single team and your team is really good, or one of these like national darlings like the Celtics or the Lakers, your team is going to be on, I would say 2 to 3 times a week, maybe. Yeah. So here's the thing, and it's it's been because we talked about the NBA on TNT and the Inside the NBA show, and there's been a lot of, it's almost like Barkley's talking out of both sides of his mouth in some ways because, I'm making the money sign with my hand because money talks. But we broke down, I think, as far as there's going to be a major game on every single week. And the way they're going to kind of determine this is almost like I just said. If you're a Lakers or Celtics, or if you're a team that has like a national following, it's a pretty good bet that you're going to be on one of these channels pretty often. So that's kind of one thing. And then the other thing too is they'll determine it based on matchups. So if there is like I don't know, if there's a big showdown between the Knicks and the Celtics early on in the season, pretty good bet that game will be on one of these services or any of these division rivals that you have, Bucks and Bulls and Celtics and Lakers, and probably they'll put a Lakers and Clippers game on. So that's kind of like the one thing. So here's the breakdown. Here's what a sample week could look like according to the new agreement. Monday, Peacock. Tuesday, NBC Broadcast Network. So that could be NBC, that can be CNBC, MSNBC, any of those NBC outlets, and Peacock. Wednesday, ESPN. Thursday, Amazon Prime Video. Friday, Amazon Prime Video or ESPN. Saturday, ABC Broadcast or Amazon Prime Video. Sunday, ABC and NBC broadcast networks. And NBC has already said that they want to do a Sunday night NBA game now once the NFL season is over, which I think is fucking cool. And guess what? They're bringing back the fucking song,
Oh, yeah.
which I'm excited about.
Oh, yeah. That makes the hairs on my back of my neck stand up.
I'm really excited about that. Anyway, I've gone on and on here. Sir, what? And here's my question for you. Let's put this into a question because I've been seeing this a lot lately about this deal. They say it's very unfair to the consumer because the consumer now, if you're a big NBA fan, you got to have all these fucking things now. Do you think it's fair? A, and then B, what are your thoughts in general about this whole situation, this whole deal?
So with the being fair thing, I would assume whether it's streaming, cable, there's a couple of those platforms that a lot of people already have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking that the only one that no one really has is Peacock.
Peacock, yeah.
Because everyone's starting to get it now because of the football.
Yeah. By the way, just to cut you off a little bit, there are like 175 million Amazon Prime subscribers. So there you go. That's a lot of people.
And I actually don't think
continue.
And Prime is probably it's a good deal to have. I mean, I've had it forever.
Yeah, same
because
here.
you could pay it yearly, which is not a bad price. Get it out of the way if you have it, or just pay it monthly.
Mm-hmm.
And it benefits you without the shipping costs and all of that.
Shipping,
and then you have
2-day shipping. Yeah,
you got Amazon Prime. You can watch whatever they're offering on there, movie wise, TV show wise, and now basketball.
And football.
NBC is if you don't have Peacock, you still have Channel 4. Whether you have cable or streaming service or whatever the case may be. So you're not really paying for that. It's because you already have the service, technically.
Yes.
Whatever streaming service, or if you have cable. So you're already paying for that. ESPN comes with cable and every streaming service.
Mm-hmm.
So you're already paying for that in that package. Like I said, whatever you have. So like I said, it's really only Peacock.
Right.
And people are signing on now. I told you they got, like you told me, they have the deal.
The deal,
I don't know if it ended, but they'll probably bring it back around if it ended, which is $20 for the year. They're not.
That's insane.
They're thinking about, listen, no matter how many football games they allow us to carry, we're going to make up our money.
Right.
Football's king. People, $20 a year. You know why they do it that way? Because no one's going to remember in a year unless they write it down or put it in their calendar. And then when the year comes up, guess what it goes to? I think it's like $100.
Exactly.
And once that money's taken out, guess what? It's a wrap. So you think you're getting over, but unless you remember, you're really not. So you would have to end it right after the football season ends. Mm-hmm. So people are going to subscribe. I've also heard people, when they did a couple games last year, people still haven't unsubscribed.
Right.
When they did it for free or whatever the case may be, $5.99, whatever it was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and like you said, with the deal, money talks. Money talks. You come to the table, you put it on the table. Wow, that's pretty big. You got a deal.
That's what she said. Come on, bro. You can't be saying that shit.
I mean, what are we talking about here? But
no,
TNT, they're showing games this year, right? It's after this year.
It's after this year. Yeah. So you get the
25-26 will be the first season
under this whole new thing. So, do you think, because now, and we talked about this in the test episode about the inside the NBA show with Shaq and Barkley and Kenny Smith and what's the hosts?
Ernie Johnson.
Ernie Johnson, about how, and I put this out there before, I think it was in a test episode, I wouldn't be surprised Amazon's going to need a team for pregame stuff. Why not just take these 4 guys and hire them? I know Ernie Johnson does baseball for TBS. Hint, he's not a great baseball announcer. So
his wheelhouse is what he does with the NBA. And
it is.
How he's the maestro.
Yes.
Of those other guys.
Yeah,
he does it well. He does it well. He's very good at his job.
So you're telling me if Mr. Bezos is not going to throw millions of dollars at these guys to get them to come to Amazon, I think it would be fun. I think Amazon would be the way to go. I don't think that shtick is going to work on NBC or ESPN. I think go to Amazon. You'll have freedom, I think, to do what you want. And the NFL stuff for Amazon's been pretty good, I think. I mean, I think
It's
the
not.
people
It's
they've
not.
gotten,
It's
yeah,
good. It's not bad. I
yeah,
don't mind it.
yeah. So I think I could see, excuse me, I can see these guys heading to Amazon when the time comes. But I will say one thing: that show's gonna be must watch, I think, this season.
Oh yeah.
Because they're gonna go. I don't want to say they're gonna go all out, but
They're
there
gonna
might
have
be
some.
some more.
They're gonna probably do some memorable stuff just in case
Yes, yeah,
they don't link back up with anyone. That way, you guys don't. We
exactly.
don't forget who they are.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that might be some must see TV right there. So, some more NBA stuff. By the way, I did not watch the game, but I know that Team USA won today against Serbia. And I didn't know Dokic was Serbian. So that goes to show you how little I pay attention to
You're
where
not the only
these
one.
guys
You're
come
not. You're
from.
not the only one. I'm good.
Yeah. So Team USA is off to a 1-0 start. I know Kevin Durant came off the bench and kind of went ape shit today. So fuck him. But and the reason I say that's because yes, we know Nets. He did the Nets dirty. Anyway, so big news this week. Your boy, Tom Thibodeau, signs a 3-year extension with the New York Knicks. I mean, come on. This was a fucking no-brainer.
No brainer. No brainer.
This
I
might
think
be the biggest
Knicks.
no-brainer
We
in
all know
no-brainer history.
The Knicks have sucked for a very, very long time. I've sit on many different sofas in many different apartments and watched them just rip my soul out. Watch the front office suck. Watch the coaches suck. Watch a lot of things suck. They have sucked for so long. If I'm not mistaken, it's been I don't know the exact many years, but let's just put it this way. Do you remember when Jeff Van Gundy was the head coach for the Knicks?
Yes, of course.
I think he was the last coach to get an extension from the Knicks.
That doesn't that sounds about right. That's insane to think about.
We've had oh my god, it's been
I'm
brutal,
gonna bring it
man.
up.
Let me
Go ahead,
see.
talk about it. I'm gonna bring it up.
I thought I had it here, but I got rid of it. Oh my god, I thought I had it. From the
I'll bring
top of
it
my
up. Go
head,
ahead.
Derek Fisher, Jeff Hornacek, Mike D'Antoni, Lenny Wilkins, Larry Brown. Ugh. Oh my
So can I
god.
tell you? Can I tell you since Jeff Van Gundy? Let's go. Let's do
Fizdale.
this.
All right, let me see
So
if I can remember. Jeff Van
we'll do
Gundy.
we'll do this in order.
I
You
don't know
want
if
to
I
do
could
this
do
in
it in order,
order?
but I'm going to try to name
Bro,
some of them off the
they've
list.
had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14
Between Van
coaches.
Gundy, right?
And
And
Thibodeau. Holy shit.
D'Antoni.
Well, the first one, if you want to go in order, it's Don Chaney,
Yeah, Don Chaney.
Herb Williams.
Let me see if I can name some of them off the list after Herb Williams. So you
Yeah.
got Don Chaney, Herb Williams,
Yes.
Hornacek, Jeff Fisher, Derek Fisher,
Jeff Hornacek. Yep. Derek Fisher.
Mike D'Antoni,
Mike D'Antoni.
Larry Brown.
Yep.
David Fizdale.
Yep.
Mike Miller was an interim at one time.
Yep.
Um,
By the way, Herb Williams was an intern twice.
Yep.
2004, 2005.
Fizdale, I said that. D'Antoni,
Bro,
I
you're
said
missing
that.
one of the biggest ones.
Oh my, Larry Brown. Did I say
You said
Larry Brown? Oh my God.
Are you fucking serious? I can't believe you're blanking on the big
Isaiah
big
Thomas.
One. Yes.
Isaiah Thomas. Christ.
There's another good one here. You only missing one more.
Mike Woodson.
Oh, you got okay. We forgot about Woodson. There's still one more.
Oh my God.
He did not last long.
Oh, the pain. I'm reliving all this garbage.
Let me know when you're ready.
Oh God. Give me the year. Let me see if I go by the year.
2016.
2016.
It was after Derek Fisher and before Jeff Hornacek. He wasn't there long.
That wasn't Kurt Rambis, right?
Yes, it was.
Oh, Kurt Rambis!
Bro was 9-19 in 28 games to start the 2016 season.
Come on, Kurt Rambis!
Whose idea was that?
How he was on? Because I think he was on Derek Fisher's
Coaching
staff. Then they fired him, and then he took over until they got the next coach. That just listen to that. Listen to that.
And the crazy thing is, outside of the only guys who had good records while they were there in that span was Woodson. He was 109-78 with a .58 winning percentage.
He led them to one of their best records in a while. They won 54 games that year.
Yeah, and then he was only 7-10 in the playoffs, though. But then Thibodeau, he's at 175-143, .550 winning percentage, and he's 14-15 in the playoffs. And he was obviously the coach of the year for 2021 season. So, damn, bro, it's insane to look at this list and think, holy shit, they've had a lot of fucking head coaches after Jeff Van Gundy. Damn.
It's been a shit show.
And dude, if you look at the records, it's terrible.
Terrible. They're all terrible. The
only one who was moderately successful was Lenny Wilkins when they were a game below 500 for the 2004-2005 season. But then you look at Larry Brown, 23-59.
Yeah, he only lasted here 1 year. One of the greatest coaches people would say in NBA history. He lasted here 1 year.
So Isaiah Thomas was 59-108 for a .341 percentage. D'Antoni was 121-167.
Oh my God.
My God. Derek Fisher 40-96. Hornacek 60-104.
The hamster wheel of turds.
Dave Fizdale 21 damn, bro. I get it.
Damn, bro. I know what's I lived through this crap. Brutal. This was why this was a no-brainer. Yes, playoff record could be better. But, there's been injuries. There's been other stuff. Let's see what happens when he goes into the playoffs with a full, healthy roster. Let's see what happens. Yes. Let's see what. But to not re-sign this guy, you're nuts. It may be his last contract because I'm not 100% sure how old he is. But they're trying to tell him. I think they based his contract on how many years these guys are signed for.
I see what you're saying.
Like, listen, you got 3 years because this is essentially how long they'll probably be together to where we can have a run. Let's see what you could do with them. I would guess he's his mid-60s?
He's 66.
66. So 3 years. It might be his last contract.
And he's a local boy. He's from Connecticut.
Yeah, he's from Connecticut.
New Britain.
That's my man, the Penguin.
Jesus Christ. Is that what they... Oh, shit, he went to Salem State. That's interesting.
I call him that. He looks like the Penguin.
He does look like the Penguin. By the way, have you seen the previews for the
I'm definitely going to watch that.
Show on Max?
HBO? Yeah, Colin Farrell is playing the Penguin.
Sir, it's Max. It's not
Max.
It's not HBO.
Who cares? No one cares.
Sir, get it right.
No one cares.
Oh, no, my mouse is not working now. What's happening here?
That sounds like a personal issue.
Yeah, I don't. What's going on here? Hold on. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it was working. Anyway. So, we are at the halftime right now. And, sir, this was your topic this week. Talking about dummy subway riders.
My God, bro.
Sir, take it away. This is you. I have some thoughts having just been in the city.
Who to start with first? Let me start. This is all based on my ride on Friday, but this happens like every day. But for some reason, I was irritated on Friday because it was so early in the morning. So get on the train. It's about 6:10, 6:15.
That's your first mistake, being on a train that
I
early.
needed to make sure I got to work so I can meet your stupid ass at the bar on time. So you're not drunk by the time I get there. Anyway, listen, guys. Listen, please. Please stop getting on the fucking train with your stupid speakers. Blasting your JBLs, your whatever you have. I don't care. I don't care. Listen, about last week, I'd probably say midweek, Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. They created these things. They just came out last week. You should invest. They're called headphones. They either have a wire, they could be wireless. You stick them in your stupid little ears, and you can listen to your own music. We don't want to hear the shit you listen to. I got 10 baby mamas. I live at home with my mom. I sell crack. No one cares.
Who's the artist on that one?
Shlobo. I don't know his name. It's stupid. It's 6:15 in the morning. I'm trying to get to work just as well as everyone else is. No one wants to hear that. You could put your little headphones in your ears and you could listen to your music to yourself. No one wants to hear the stuff that you're listening to. No one cares. No one cares, man. Seriously. Man, woman, I don't whoever you are, I don't care. Stop doing it. Stop doing it. It's stupid. It makes no sense. I can't wait till some OG comes on the train, hears that, picks up the speaker, and just throws it on the floor and smashes it, and then doesn't care what happens.
Damn.
That's what I'm waiting for because it's obnoxious. It's idiotic. You only care about yourself. You're not in your shower at your home listening to the radio. No one cares. I don't want to hear that crap anymore because half the stuff that you're listening to sounds like nonsense. It's stupid. It's stupid. I got one more, but if you want to interject on that,
No, go ahead. Go ahead. Because I feel the same way about it. I can't stand it. I can't
and the
stand them
last one
not
I
using
have
headphones. Yeah.
is this thing on? Hey, dummies on the platform. You can't get on the train until I get off the fucking train. So the next guy that wants to bump into me and start talking mess, we're going to have some problems. Just step to the side. I'm not telling you to wait in the middle of the platform. Step to the side. You can't get on until we get off. This is like a big issue in New York. It's weird.
It is. It is.
It's because they want to fight for seats. Listen, get on a train. If you don't sit, stand. Who cares? Who cares? But you running people over because you want to get on first and then let us off? In your little simple minds, your little baby brains, does that even make sense to come on first and then tell us to get off? Just think about it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to sit down and think and use your fucking brain. But does that make sense to come on first and then we get off? Just think about it. Think about it. Write it down on a piece of paper. Ask yourself the question. Ask your mom. Ask your dad. Ask whoever you want to ask. But ask yourself, does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And then the people that you bump into when you're getting off, they're the ones that have a problem with you.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, we have to get off in order for you to get on. These people from New York are very stupid, and I'm tired.
Here's my question. Do you think, because if you're from here, I feel like you should know better.
But it's everybody from here that does it. There's no tourists on the train at 6:15 in the morning. Those two incidents happened to me at 6:15 in the morning.
That is a
I got on the train at 6:15. The radio happened, and then my train ride's about 15 minutes because it's express train. So I got to 59th Street at about 6:30, 6:35. Those are not tourists. Those are working people. These people are wearing three-piece suits too. That you want to be like judgmental. You would think the people in the three-piece suits are the ones that understand. They're the ones that do it the most.
Yeah. You think they would know better,
but they don't. They'll be quick to say it was blah blah blah. We don't blah blah blah. You guys know what blah 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 is. We're not going to do that. But it's the people in the three-piece suits that do it a lot. These are working people from New York. You think they would know? They don't. They don't. The same people that walk on the street with their head in their phone, walking up and down the stairs. If you walk down the right side, and whatever the right side is, whether you're going up or down, that's the side you're supposed to be on. That's how the traffic flows. Mm-hmm. Traffic doesn't only work on the street with cars. It's for human beings too. Right side, guys. Right side. Get out of the way when the door's open so we can get off. You can get on and stop playing your stupid fucking music on the speaker. No one cares. It's stupid. It's stupid. Get out of here.
I had the issue this week on Friday when I was going to meet you. Shout out to the one and only. What the hell is that place called?
Jake's Dilemma.
Jake's.
We got to at them.
Jesus
We got to at them on this next episode.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, I run into that problem when I was getting off the shuttle. You know, the shuttle that goes between Grand Central and Times Square, where people are trying to get on as you know, I'm trying to get off. And there have been times, I distinctly remember there was one time that I did it by I think it was the Wall Street stop on the no, it was the Fulton Street stop when I used to work in the city and I was transferring from whatever the 4, 5, or 6 to the A train to get back into Brooklyn, and people were just like blocking the fucking door getting out, and I'm like, you guys got to move. Like I yelled at them, like you guys got to get out of the way so we can get off. And people look at you like you have two heads. Like, no, bro, let's go. Get the fuck out of the way.
Imagine
It's
if we
not that hard.
What would happen if everybody on the platform was blocking the door to get in, and then everybody getting out was blocking the door? Now we got like a warrior standoff.
Yes, right. Yeah. Warrior standoff.
They're not understanding that the person, that the conductor that's opening and closing the trains, he's looking, his guideline is the people once he sees everybody on from the platform.
Right.
That's what he's basing off closing the doors.
Exactly.
So guess what? If we let you guys on first, you know what's going to happen? He's going to close the doors. I know you don't give a shit because it's not your stop. I know you don't give a shit. Right. But I couldn't care less. I'll run you over. I don't care. Get out the way. Step to the side. We're going to get off and you're going to get on. Whether you get a seat or not, that's really not my problem. That's all I really have to say. You guys are idiots.
I will say, you don't run into these issues on the Metro North.
No, you don't. I'm not even going to get into that because I might say something. They might DM me or something. I ain't doing it. You're not tricking me.
Well, yeah. Well, I'll say it for myself. You don't see this stuff on the Metro North because everybody in the Metro North is nice and they're just nice. That's
Read
it.
between the lines. We're not doing this.
They know how to behave. They're not animals. Let's just put it that way. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah. For you people need to just like we said with the driving thing last week. You people need to do better. Just do better at life, please. Please do me that favor. Anyway, all right. This is going to be the fun part of the show. By the way, I've got the Red Sox game on right now.
Yeah, so do I.
Back-to-back jacks for the Red Sox, and I think Devers just hit a triple.
And he just hit a triple.
And Jazz Chisholm doesn't know how to play off balls off the wall.
Nope.
Oh boy. It's interesting the configuration they have. So Chisholm's playing center field, Soto's in left.
Yeah. And,
am I assuming that Judge is in right field?
No, Verdugo.
Or no?
Verdugo.
So is Judge the DH tonight?
Yes.
I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say one real quick thing that you mentioned that you're watching this game, and so am I.
Yes.
I think the Yankees, they're really trolling Alex Rodriguez. And the reason why I say that is, if I remember right, he did an interview last year, a couple years ago. They asked him a question: did it bother him when they gave Joey Gallo number 13? And I think he admitted to it bothering him.
Okay.
Guess who's wearing 13?
I see that. I just noticed that.
I think the Yankees are trolling Alex Rodriguez, and it's effed up, man.
I wouldn't be surprised. So do you think it should be off limits? Nobody should wear number 13 on the Yankees. He's got a very complicated history with the Yankees when you think about it.
But I also believe that the drought's longer if it wasn't for him in 2009.
I was going. You were thinking the same thing I was, because I just said
that has a lot to do with it.
The last time they won a series was when he was there. Think about that.
He played with them for a while too. He played with the Yankees for a long time. Gun to my head, I would say yes.
Okay, interesting. There's got to be something to it. there's got to be some kind of animosity there between Rodriguez and the
Yeah,
Yankees.
I would say so. But I think they're trolling him, and I think it's like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? Everybody else that comes up, there's been plenty of people that have come up and been traded for before Chisholm, and
Yes.
they've gotten all these other numbers. Now he comes here. Why? Because he's an outfielder / infielder. You want to
Mm,
stop?
Well, since we're speaking about Mr. Chisholm, LeeJay and I know him very well, obviously, because he played for the Marlins for so long. So if you're a baseball fan, the past couple of few days have been nuts. There's been a lot of trades being done. Yankees have made a trade. Obviously, the Mets made a couple of trades, and we'll get into that as well. But I was doing some research before we hopped on here, and I'm gonna say this without knowing a hell of a lot about the Yankees. I think the Yankees overpaid for Chisholm, and I'm gonna tell you why. There are a couple of reasons I think that this is the case. If you look at the guys that they gave up, and whatever you want to say about prospects, whatever, the catcher Augustin Ramirez and the infielder Jared Cerna, they instantly become top 10 prospects for the Marlins. So that's how highly ranked that they were in the Yankee system. And the other guy was a utility player. Seemed like he was just a throw-in. Now, I say that to say that Chisholm now, he's under Yankees control through 2026. So maybe the Yankees thought, okay, this guy's going to be with us for another 2 whole seasons after this. Is he worth giving up these prospects who may or may not pan out? We know this. We talk about this. We talk about this all the time. But there was also questions about his attitude. I think was like the big thing coming into this thing. Are you surprised that they ended up trading for him? I guess is my first thing. And does he fit? Does he fit on this Yankees team?
Um, the overpaying for him. Like I've said with the prospects, I'm not a big prospect guy, but also don't
Yes.
want to give up prospects for somebody like him.
Yes, I agree.
It's got to be a big it's got to be a big name. Obviously, you would if it was a bigger name, you would have had to tack on more prospects. But I don't have a
Yes.
problem with that.
Right.
To
Yeah.
me, he's not the guy that you give up. If they automatically
Absolutely
shoot up
not.
into the top 10, to me, he's not that guy to give you those kind of draft picks. That's what I mean by prospects, in
Yes.
my
Yes.
opinion. Right?
I agree. Yes.
So, does he help them? I don't see why not. I mean, if they put him, I guess, in the right position, his personality, I think, is for New York. I'll say that. I don't really know if that's going to go any far, but I think his personality would fit. So I'm not really worried about that part of it
Interesting.
because
Okay.
I
Gotcha.
think he does a lot of showboating and stuff like that, and that fits to what
Right.
the New York name, as people say, whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
So I mean, if maybe if they use him right, I think he has 20 steals. I'm thinking maybe if they use him more to steal, get him in scoring position for the big bats, maybe because right now I think he's batting fourth or fifth today. So is he a
I have
leadoff
to look at
hitter
that.
in the number 2 hole? Well, you can't put him in the 2 hole because Soto's there. Maybe put him number 9,
Do the double leadoff thing.
the double leadoff. Correct.
Yeah.
He gets on base. He steals a couple bases. You know, stuff like that. I think helps them. Hopefully, he doesn't have an attitude like maybe they suggested. I don't really
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
it's too late. He's already on the team.
Well, I mean, the other thing too is that he also has versatility, right? As far as
Yes.
he is batting fifth, playing center field. He's 0 for 2
I think
already. He's 0 for
he could
2
probably play
tonight.
any outfield position. Play second base. Probably he plays a lot of positions. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, he probably could
To
play
me, if you could play
shortstop.
center field, you could probably play all positions in the outfield.
Sure.
Second base, I think he plays a little bit of short. He could probably play third. Like I said, he plays a lot. They can move him around. He could
I,
substitute like for other people that need rests. Throw him in a DH or whatever you want to do. You could figure it out.
so I think just looking at the lineup and how they have things oriented right now, I would think the biggest beneficiary from this is Judge, only because he doesn't have to play the outfield now as much.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And listen, the guys, I'm not saying he's injury prone, but when you're that size, you're more susceptible to injuries. You
Mm-hmm.
just are. I mean, that's just fact. So I'm not saying that Judge is injury prone. So the less you have that man on his feet, I think the better. And maybe Judge comes off to listen. He hasn't slowed down the whole season, right? He's still
I think he's
fucking hitting
played
home
pretty
runs
much.
right and left. Yeah,
Yeah, his numbers are off the chain.
yeah. So, but I do think that it definitely benefits him that Chisholm is here because I think Chisholm can take off some of the strain from Judge playing the field every single day. It is interesting that they have Soto and left. I find that I'm a little fascinated by that. But
Well, I've heard he's
yeah,
not the best defensive player.
no, he's not. His arm is not great
So
either,
usually the
from what I
best, the least of the three, you know, defensive players in the outfield goes to left field.
yeah,
That's
which
always
is
been.
interesting because they've had him in right field this most of
Yeah.
this time.
Mm-hmm.
And Verdugo in left. And Verdugo's playing right field tonight, which you kind of have to do in Fenway Park. So I guess that kind of makes sense in a lot of ways because there's a lot of real estate in right field, right center field at Fenway Park. So
Remember, he used to
at
play for the
least
Red Sox, so he's probably played right field, so he knows.
yes, he knows. I mean, the biggest challenge that, and you just saw it. If you're watching the game right now, Chisholm did not play that ball off the monster right at all. He let it
Which
go
goes to
over
what
his
I just
head.
said. I mean, I don't know how many
Yeah,
games he's played in Boston with Miami. Maybe he doesn't know the dimensions and everything, so he read it wrong
yeah,
and it went over his head.
yeah, exactly. So right now, Yankees post All-Star break, they have split 2 games with the Red Sox. They blew the lead on Friday, but then they came back and won in extra innings on Saturday. And clearly, they are trying to add to the team because they need it. It's funny because when I saw the trade on SNY, somebody commented, "Oh, great, we got a center fielder. All we need now is a pitcher, a reliever, a second base."
Oh, is that
Like,
all?
yeah, is that
Is
all?
that all? Everything else that everybody else wants.
Yes, well, just what you're seeing. Listen, and that's the thing. Look, this is I always get excited about this time of the year because I just think it's fascinating, kind of where where players end up and it seems like this year with so many different teams in the hunt, we're already seeing it. You texted me before, the Phillies are going all in, and they're in first place right now,
Yeah, they got
and
that
they
guy
got
from the
better.
Angels that has some incredible numbers as their save guy.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like holy shit, that's like insane. The Rays are cleaning house and getting rid of people right and left as they usually do when
They
they're
usually do that anyway. They don't really
yeah,
re-sign their players. They take them as far as they could go. They haven't really won us
right,
anything. Let's
right.
trade them while they're hot and like kind of start it over again.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But they
exactly what
win. They're it just hasn't translated to championships, but they win.
they they win more than the Mets do. I can tell you that right now.
Oh boy.
I can
I
tell
guess
you that right now.
I guess that's our segue into the
That's
Mets.
our segue to the Mets. Hey, we talked about the Yankees there for a fair amount, like 10 minutes. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it that we don't talk about the Yankees. So, okay. Let's talk about the trade first. Actually, let's go to Eric's question, the first half of his question, because I think it'll help us set the table for this part of the conversation. So Eric Pim 8 writes in. By the way, you can also write in on patreon.com/2dummies sports podcast. Okay. So this is what he says. This is the first part of the question. Okay, guys, I have one question and one thought. First, the question. Trade deadline is Tuesday. We all know what the Mets need. Relief pitching, possibly a starter as well. They definitely need a starter now. We'll talk about that in a minute. And I think they also need a lefty bat off the bench to replace Stewart because he's useless. We'll get to that in a second, too.
Stewart's gone. Yep.
Yes. My question is, who do you think we should target? I've heard rumors about Conforto coming back. Not crazy about it, but anything is better than Stewart. Well, Eric. Obviously, we know by now that the Mets acquired one of their nemesis in Jesse Winker from the Nationals for Tyler Stewart, who was a right-handed pitcher who was, by the way, he was a top-ranked prospect in the Mets system for whatever that's worth. So they did what I thought that they weren't going to do. He wasn't like a top 10 guy, but he was, he was up there. And he instantly becomes now, I think I saw like a number 12 in the national system after the trade. So they got Winker. I don't know why the fuck that man was not starting today.
No, because
Don't.
Carlos Mendoza.
What was the reason?
He got in at 7 last night. He wanted him to get acclimated. Something like
Stupid.
that.
Stupid.
Yes,
Stupid. That's stupid. Why is Chisholm out there?
I think that's why. I think that's where sometimes with these managers, I can't rock with them. It doesn't make sense. You traded for this guy. They had who started for the Reynaldo Lopez, a right hand.
Yeah.
He should have been in the lineup.
Yeah, he absolutely should have been in the lineup.
He should have been in the lineup. I think it would have gave the. Not that they really, but yesterday was a terrible game. It was a little down. I think he would have gave them a jolt because as much as we hated him when he was on the opposing team,
Yes.
I think it works in reverse now.
Yes. Yeah.
And now they're gonna love him. And I think it would have helped.
I
as
agree.
Crazy as that sounds, I just think it would have helped. He should have just been in the lineup. Let's not make it too difficult. He should have just been in the lineup. Period.
No, I agree. That was like the thing that I was wondering today when I put the game on. I'm thinking like, why the fuck is he not in the game? We got our wish. We got our wish that DJ Stewart is gone. But you don't have Winker in the fucking lineup. I just don't understand that.
I didn't look at the lineup. Even before you text me, I was like, he'll be in a lineup. I'm not. It's not like he was like in a 10-hour flight somewhere and he was coming. No, he was not. Wherever he was at, I think they were in St. Louis, maybe. Whatever. He's gonna get here early evening. He'll be in the lineup. Never thought twice about it until you text me. I was like, what? Oh, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't quite understand that whole situation. I'm bringing something up, by the way. I just want to make sure I have up when we start getting into the Mets more. Okay, so back to Eric's question. First trade of this whole weekend was a reliever. And boy, that did not look good today, boy.
He bombed.
It was Ryan Stanek from the Mariners. For minor league outfielder Rylan Thomas, who was one of these peripheral prospects, ranked number 30th in the Mets system. So the Mets are doing what I thought they were going to do. They're not going to trade a Jet Williams. They're not going to trade Acuna. They're not going to trade any of these guys in the top 10. They're going to trade guys that are in the lower tier that are supposedly big prospects, which is fine. It's what I expected them to do, and they're actually doing it. It hasn't helped so far because here's the situation.
That's my whole thing. Like, I hate to sound like I'm just a broken record.
No, sound
you
like
could
a
do
broken
all of
record.
that,
fine.
But the chances of it actually working out, But I know if I trade good prospects, I'm gonna get good to right on the cusp of great players.
Sure,
and I know I can have them for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on what their contract is. And maybe you have to take some garbage back from under the team. But if you're the Mets, because all I hear about is Cohen and his deep pockets, you can eat that, and we move on.
Right.
Like the Jesse Winker thing, all right, I don't got a problem. We texted about that last week, fine. But to me, the needle's the same.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that I thought, this is what Eric texted me earlier, and I'll give him an extra shout out here because he said this is why so let's go back. They lose the final 2 games of this series, Saturday and Sunday. They won Thursday, luckily, let's be honest, with the whole guy overrunning the ball in right field that McNeil hit. Friday
and this guy was out and this guy was safe at third base.
What are you talking about? I didn't see that. So
yeah, all right. There was a play where
because I was out.
I think it was Merrifield. He went to steal third, and Vientos tagged him late, but they called him out.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And I know they had the blown safety squeeze play too
Yep.
that they got kind of lucky about. And then Friday, we're there Friday. They basically blow him out of the water Friday. But, here comes Senga. First start back this year. And the guy fucking suffers a high calf sprain. And he's basically out for the rest of the regular season, which fucking blows. Which now goes to Eric's point about who's out there to acquire as a starting pitcher. I don't know, because I tell you this right now, and I know you'll agree, Tyler McGill and David Peterson ain't fucking cutting it. I mean, absolutely ain't cutting it.
I got a guy here that I looked at based on contract and everything, the year he's having. I watched a couple of their games this year. He's right in his prime. And this is the guy I'm trying to say, like, if you got somebody like him, Mason Miller, like we talked about, reliever from the A's, and let's say a good bat, still young, maybe he just needs a change of scenery. You got 3 players like that. You're not willing to give up 3 prospects for something like that. And the guy I'm talking about, Eric's listening, so when he hears this, I wonder how he feels about it. Tariq Skubal from the Detroit Tigers. He's on a 1-year contract. He's making $2.6 million. He avoided arbitration this year, then it's 2-3, and then he's an unrestricted free agent at 30. You could get somebody like that. You could lock him up. I think his numbers this year, he's like 12-3. He got like a 2-point-something ERA. That's the kind of people I'm talking about. This guy's good. He's a good starting pitcher. Then the Mason Miller guy, we got somebody like him. Let's say you put him in the bullpen, and then a bat. I've always been on the Luis Robert guy from the White Sox. He's having a terrible year, but I think sometimes people like him just need to change his. He's only 26 years old. Maybe he just needs a change of scenery. Come here, he would love it. He start hitting again. I don't know, but here's a problem with, and I think I spoke about it last week with the starting pitching which goes into the relief pitching. And I don't really get into this, but I thought about this over the week. Maybe part of the relief pitching is we suck. Randy, you could look at the guys; they're unknown, they stink. But what about if they're just tired? Because the starting pitching can't go deep enough. Again, Peterson, 5 innings today. That's not good enough. I'm sorry. It's not good enough. So this is all, going all downhill. It's all cause and effect. It doesn't make sense. 5 innings. If Lindor didn't make that diving play up the middle today, another run would have scored. And guess what would have happened? He would have been pulled in the 4th inning. So he would have went 3 1/3. That's not good enough. So maybe the effect of the bullpen is because of the starting pitcher not going deep enough. This bullpen goes 4+ innings. Since when? The Braves pitcher yesterday pitched 7 innings. That's what you need. Because if that's the case, why are we paying you for? You should be paid like a reliever. You pitch longer relief from the 1st inning to the 4th inning, you're out. Let's go. Pay the relievers more.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So, while you were talking, I'm looking at because here's another thought that I had. The Mets have an abundance of pitchers in the system right now. But here's the issue, because I thought, why don't you try bringing up one of these guys that's close to being ready to take over one of these starting spots, or maybe have them help in the bullpen. Here's the problem, though. The 2 guys that I had in mind, Mike Vasil and Blade Tidwell, right? No, they suck. Here's the problem. Suck. Blade Tidwell's ERA right now, he's at 5.56. Okay? Mike Vasil's ERA right now is at 5.76. So you're not going to get any help from those 2 guys. The other thing, too, you talk about trading prospects. You know what the Mets have an abundance of in the minor league system right now? Catchers. Kevin Parrilla.
Right, they do, yep.
Giovanni Rodriguez and Ronald Hernandez and Daverson Gutierrez. They have a glut of catchers in the system right now. There you go, right there. You want to maybe trade somebody? And I'm looking at some of these other names that are like in the 12 to 20 range that are not going to make the majors for at least a couple of more years. So they do have guys. Another one, Dom Hamill, supposedly supposed to be coming up this year. He's got a fucking 6.25
He's not
ERA.
gonna. They're not gonna come up if
Like,
they
what is
suck.
happening? No, I know.
But this
That's the
goes back
problem.
to what we always said: the Mets can't draft, and yeah, it's early for these guys, but you're gonna hold on, hoping 2, 3, 4, 5 years. What if they never turn out? But you could have got rid of them when everyone thought they could have been something, and you could have got something good in return. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like this,
Right.
here's another guy real quick that I
Exactly.
was looking at. He plays for the White Sox. His record ain't the best, but he has a good ERA, 3.23, 160 strikeouts, a WHIP of 1.01, which I don't really care about. He's 6-8. But part of that to me is because he plays for the White Sox. His last couple
Right.
starts haven't been the best, but whatever. He's 25 years old. He's 25.
What's his name?
His name is sorry about that. His name is Garrett. I want to say Croquette. I'm probably
I'm
botching
looking it
his
up
name, but
now.
something like Crochet.
Yep, I got it. Garrett Crochet. I think it's Crochet. Yeah. 25.
Like,
Yeah.
why not? You could have this guy for a long time. This is what I'm talking about. He's 6-8 with the
And he,
White Sox. They suck. So if he got on a good
yeah.
team, he's probably good. That's how, in my mind, that's how that translates.
And his name is being brought up in trade rumors right
This is
now.
what I'm trying to say. Like, we got to
But I
be in
don't
on
think the
these
Mets
guys.
are
Forget about the.
involved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what are
Yeah.
we doing here? We got 17 catches in a farm system. For what? These guys are never going to, not all of them are going to ever play for the Mets. They're just not. So why
No,
are you
you're right.
holding on to these things? Like, why are you holding on to them for? It doesn't make sense.
Do you think that they're holding on to them in this situation because they know deep down inside that this team cannot win a World Series this year? So why even bother?
It
Because
could
that's the
be.
feeling that I'm getting
It could
right
be.
now.
It could be. I just feel like, listen, I didn't think about that, but that could be. You hold on to these prospects as you see in your mind. This is the next step. And
Yes.
if I get good players like the players I named, I don't see the players now with them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's just hold on to our prospect and let's build with them. Move forward like that. I just think it's stupid. Which tells me, like I've always said, I don't think Stearns has as much confidence in this team as us
No,
fans do, or fans do in this team.
he
He's
definitely
looking at
doesn't.
this as, you know what? We had a good run. Let's see what happens. He's not going to obviously say that, but his moves tell me that.
See, to me, I think that's actually a good thing because you're not getting caught up in the hype, knowing how flawed this team is, right? Because this team is very flawed. The starting pitching is terrible. The bullpen is fucking up and down. Diaz is not having his a great year. Yes, the offense is doing better, but listen, they have not outside of those the 2-run home run that Alonso hit today. They hadn't scored in like 20
Oh
innings.
yeah, it was a lot of innings.
Yeah, they hadn't scored since I think the fourth inning of the game on Friday when they scored like whatever six runs it was. The team's streaky. So Stearns clearly knows something that we don't. I mean, clearly knows something that we don't. So maybe again, I think this move with Winker and the relief pitcher, we're gonna show that we're doing something, that we're getting some guys in here, and then see where the chips fall. Because honestly, what are we looking at? The Mets make the playoffs. They're probably going to get knocked out early. I mean, if I'm being completely honest, because the pitching staff sucks. It's awful.
Yeah, I want to stop narrowing this down like everybody else does. It's just the bullpen. Yes, the bullpen stinks, but from top to bottom, from the starting to the last person in the bullpen, the whole pitching staff sucks.
Oh yeah, the whole pitching staff is horrible. Yeah, it's not good.
They all stink. Besides maybe Severino, who hasn't been bad. I guess a couple save opportunities that Diaz had, but besides that, all these pitchers stink.
Yeah, they're just not. It's just not. The team staff is just listen. They lead the league in walks allowed. That says a lot. You can't, as they always say, walks will kill you, and the walks are killing the Mets
Yeah, it's a
big
trickle
time.
down effect. It starts with the starting pitcher. They can't go more than 4 or 5 innings. It's going to be a disaster. It's not complicated. We complicate things too much. It's not that complicated.
Let's go to the second part of Eric's his comment. He goes, "This may be just the decades of disappointment in me that's talking, but yesterday the 2022 season flashed in my head. Think about it. 2022, we had a huge 5-game series right around this time versus the Braves at Citi Field, and we dominated, winning 4 out of 5. We ended that year getting swept in Atlanta with DeGrom, Scherzer, and Bassett on the mound. I remember that.
I remember that.
Trust me, I was in the building for 2 of those games, and it was a disaster. This year so far, we've won 2 out of 4, and all is well. Well, now it's not because they they split the series. But we end the season this year in Atlanta, second to last series of the year, with probably a wild card spot on the line. And once again, I probably will be in the building. Mets can't let history repeat itself this year, or I will lose my shit. I need therapy.
We all need therapy.
I don't think they're going to be in the wild card spot by the time they get to Atlanta. I don't know. I could be wrong, but there is something that is just not sitting right with me. And I'll relay again what Eric said. The Braves are hurt. They are hurt. And you're letting a team that has like 5 of their major cogs in their team, and you're letting them blow you out of the water. Especially like what happened today.
Mm-hmm.
How am I supposed to believe in this team? And I agree with Eric. How am I supposed to believe in this team if they cannot beat up on an injured Atlanta Braves ball club? I mean, am I wrong in that assessment? Are we wrong in that assessment?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
So it's just the Mets now, again, I feel like they're constantly having to prove themselves to me. Now you've got 3 games against the Twins coming up. And the Twins are relatively in a good position right now because let's see. I'm just looking at the standings really quick. They are
They're in first place, no?
No, they're 4.5 games out of first place.
They're in second place because the Guardians are in first.
Yeah, Guardians are in first, but the Twins are only 2 games behind the Yankees for the top wild card. So they're playing relatively well. It's not going to get easy.
Real
then
quick.
You got to go.
I kind of thought about this real quick, not to interrupt, because I kind of put these two things together. So, David Stearns came in. They were talking about, what? They didn't say they weren't going to compete, but it wasn't going to be like the whole spending money, yada, yada, yada.
Right.
But they will compete,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So that tells me he believes in the farm system. They said that 1,000,000 times, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem with something like what the Mets are doing with this nice little winning streak, the stupid grimace, oh my God, rally pimp, whoever else, whatever else you thought. This reminds me of, remember when the Giants made the playoffs? They had a decent year. They made the playoffs. They beat the Vikings in the first round.
Yes, that was just 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
The year before that,
then they got blown out by the Eagles.
The Giants. The year before that, they weren't good, right? They didn't make the playoffs. Anything.
Right.
This reminds me of that couple year with the Giants where everything in the front office was rebuilt until they had a semi-good year, made the playoffs, and then everything got put on hold. And here we are now. The Giants had a garbage year last year, and now you're like, is Jones the guy? Should we draft a quarterback? And I kind of feel like this is what is happening with the Mets because of this winning streak or this little winning streak, however you want to call it.
Sure. Yeah, this run that they're on.
This little run that they're on.
Yeah.
And you get caught up in that. And you don't look at the bigger picture, which is what I've always said. To me, if you're not going to go for big names that are available to make your team better for years to come, forget about it.
Then don't do
Stick it with what it is and bring up the guys that are ready now and move forward that way. That's what I'd rather see. Like, to me, I think Acuna should be up already.
Yes,
he should have been up already. Because I'm only hearing nothing but good things about him. Even if these guys stink, these pitching prospects, how are you going to know if they stink or not?
Right. Bring them up and see what happens.
Let's go. Yeah. Bring them up. That way we know if they're the guy or they're not the guy. We know what to do next year, whatever the case be. That's where it gets a little tricky to me. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah, because now you're only because if you look at that list again, I know we're going on and on here, but we're almost done with this topic. You look at some of the ETAs because nobody really knows when these guys are going to get called up, right? But with three of those guys that I mentioned before, actually two of them, the two pitchers, and you mentioned Acuna, their ETA is supposed to be this year. I don't think we're going to see them this year if the Mets are in a playoff race.
We're not.
So now you're delaying their development another year, right? So are they going to have to come in spring training to earn a job? Or are you going to start them in AAA again next year because they didn't have a chance to prove themselves on the major league level this year because you were in a playoff hunt to potentially get knocked out in the first round?
That's my point. The hamster wheel. That's my point. Yeah, that's exactly my point.
Right. Oof, I don't know, man. This they got these 3 games. The trade deadline's on Wednesday, and then they go on this huge fucking brutal road trip. Angels. Then they have to fly to St. Louis and do that makeup game. Mm-hmm. Then they got to go to Colorado for 3 games, and then go to Seattle for 3. That's a lot, bro. That's a lot of fucking travel. So we're gonna know, I think, about the middle of next month. I know we keep on delaying this, but we have to see. They're right there. I mean, for better or worse,
just like the Mets, they don't. Just when they bring you up and you're at the top of the barrel trying to get out, they grab your little ankle and they pull you back to the bottom.
Especially when you've
seen these last 2 games,
right? Especially when you've got the 3rd wild card spot right now. They're in it. They're in the shit right now. So anyway, all right. Enough of the fucking Mets. I'm done. We're not talking about them next week. That's not true. We're going to talk about them next week. All right. Our Mount Rushmore this week. I thought we would have a little fun because people know I'm a huge pro wrestling fan, or maybe you don't know that. But I thought, let's do something fun this week. Not that the other ones aren't fun. Something more up my alley. And that's a Mount Rushmore of 80s WWF wrestlers. Two things here.
This wasn't easy, sir.
Really?
Not
I had a hard time coming up with 2 of them. First 2 were
I was stuck at 2.
Easy.
So that's why I want to do 2 mentionables. As
we
well
can do
to
that.
This list.
And just, I don't want anybody coming at me or at us.
Yeah, no one cares.
We are doing WWF. We're not doing WCW. So Ric Flair is not on this list. Just FYI. WWF. I know Ric Flair was in WWF for a quick stint, I think in the late 80s, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to look that up just to be
it was.
Let's see. He was there.
I actually think 2 of
91. So there you
match.
Go. He wasn't. Yeah. 91. He was his first time there. So he's not even in the 80s. Okay. I'll let you go first. I'm going to write these down and tell me why you picked each guy.
Okay. I don't know if I want to do this.
Is this any specific order?
I wanted to. So the number 1 guy, he'll be left for number 1 because he was my favorite wrestler of all time.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave him.
Okay.
I really only have 1 honorable mention, and So my honorable mention is JYD, the Junkyard Dog.
Damn, bro,
he was my guy. I mean, he never reached stardom.
No, not with WWF.
But the fans loved him. He came in barking like a dog. He had the chain around his neck. I just loved the whole effect.
By the way, a black man with a chain on his neck.
I think he was good for wrestling.
Yeah.
Sir, stop.
That's not going to fly today.
This is going to be fun. Okay?
So honorable mention is JYD.
Honorable mention is my man Junkyard Dog. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Mount Rushmore. Andre the Giant.
Oh, okay. That's a good one.
I think as a kid, for me, that was the first massive human being that you saw on television.
Yes.
And you're this dude is wrestling?
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
So you're like looking at the screen like this guy's huge. and to WWF's credit at the time, they always hyped it up to where what was the thing to do? Whoever he was wrestling to try to pick him up,
To try to body slam. Yeah,
to
body
try to
slam him.
body slam him, the
Yes,
fake back
exactly.
and all of this. But that was the thing. The number one match I always remember is him versus Hogan.
Oh, of course. WrestleMania 3. Yeah.
WrestleMania. That's the first match I always remember.
Yeah.
So
It's classic. That's a classic.
Andre the Giant. Number 3, the Macho Man Randy Savage. My guy with the flying elbow from the top rope, his personality, the voice, the gimmick. And it might not even have been a gimmick because that's the way he talked, right?
No, that was him.
That was how he
really
talked. That was him. So it wasn't really a gimmick. It's weird to like who he was really was who he. It doesn't really happen like that. It's just really that's a character. People live like in that character, and then there's something else in real life.
Yeah.
But that's who he was. The flying elbow. Oh, the guy was awesome, man. I loved him. Randy Savage. I think everybody should have him on the Mount Rushmore list. And that's number 2.
On mine, but
Hulk Hogan.
Hogan's number 2.
Has to be Hulk Hogan has to be on everyone's list.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, I completely has to be. No, listen,
I think
regardless of how you feel about him today, he's on that fucking
forget about that.
Mount Rushmore.
Stupid.
Yeah.
To me, in my opinion, even if someone asks you name an 80s wrestler, that's the first one that's going to come out of your mouth, even before your favorite wrestler.
Yes, absolutely.
It's just like when you say basketball, 90s, Michael Jordan. You're not going to say anyone else, even if it's your favorite.
I agree. Yeah.
He was WWF. Brother,
he was.
USA. The fans loved him. They probably loved him more when he turned and all of it, everything else for the rest of his career. But he was WWF. Hulk Hogan was it.
Mm-hmm.
And they rode his coattails, and
absolutely,
he's an icon. Just simple as that. He's an icon. And my number one guy, my favorite wrestler of all time. I don't know if I
can't wait to hear this.
Jake the Snake Roberts.
Ah, okay.
Favorite wrestler. I love the whole snake in the bag thing. My favorite move was the DDT. The short clothesline was awesome.
Yep,
he wasn't athletic. He really didn't have a lot of moves.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he did great promos. He was. His whole shtick was awesome.
Yes, I agree.
And that's my Mount Rushmore of 80s wrestlers, WWF.
I agree. Well, my list is very similar to yours with one exception.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, very, very similar. So I think an honorable mention, you're going to find this funny, but it might be Tito Santana.
I was going to actually, Tito Santana, almost, he was like right there. He was like right there.
The thing with, and this is the reason why is because the guy could, as they say, work. You know, we could wrestle anybody. So because he was that type of guy, he was on TV quite often. I mean, he often lost, but you know, in that situation, if you know anything about pro wrestling, you're supposed to make the other guy look good. So he was the guy that they used to make the other people look good. So actually, I'm sorry. There's actually gonna be two because there are gonna be two variations on this, so it's not gonna be exactly the same. So that is actually no. I'm sorry. It is gonna be one variation. So that is my honorable mention is Tito Santana. So I'm actually gonna put this in order. Number 4 is Jake the Snake Roberts.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I think for a lot of this stuff, I got more of an appreciation for some of these guys when you watch these documentaries and you watch the shit that they do on A&E. And we all know that like Jake the Snake Roberts has had a fucking shitty life post WWF. I mean, he's almost died a couple of times. He was part of the whole, I don't know if you ever saw the DDP documentary when they brought in Jake the Snake and Yeah, and
Try to help
Scott
him with all
Hall.
of that.
Yeah, rest in peace, Scott Hall. They tried to rehab those two guys, and he has done stuff for AEW now, so he's still kind of making the rounds out there. The sad thing about him is that you see him, he has to use a machine to help him breathe.
He has an oxygen tank now.
Yeah, he has got an oxygen tank. So it's like, I hate seeing shit like that because it just, one, it's like, damn, there goes my childhood right there. And two, it just makes me think I'm fucking getting older, in that way. So anyway, Jake the Snake Roberts is number 4. Number 3, Mr. Perfect.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Mr. Perfect. Yeah, that's definitely a good one.
The whole, if you go back and watch some of the shit from back then, do you remember the promo where they did where he would like throw the football to himself?
And then he would like go through the screen and he's on the other side, he's catching it. Come on. That's classic.
That shit is, dude.
It's funny. I see it every now and then on Instagram.
Dude, I cannot tell you how funny that was. And he would carry around that fucking towel. And he would throw it behind his back and catch it. Do you remember that?
And then throw it into the stands.
Yeah. And then the gum thing. Oh my dude! I cannot tell you how many times I've done that myself.
Yes.
Where I spit my gum out and fucking hit it.
Smack it. Yep.
Holy shit, bro! And if you watch some of those promos that he did back in the 80s, and his manager was Bobby the Brain Heenan, the way that those two like played off each other was like something like crazy. And he had good
his move, the perfect plex, right?
The perfect plex, yeah. It was the fisherman's suplex where you hook the guy's leg
to
leg,
pin him. He locked with his other hand.
Yeah,
exactly.
Boy. I mean, he had some good runs as Intercontinental Champion, and I think he did a couple of programs with Hogan as well that were really good. So shout out to Mr. Perfect, another guy gone way too soon. Number 2, the Macho Man. Dude, I think that guy has become more popular in death than he was when he's alive. Because how many fucking IG reels do I see with him showing the promos that he did? The whole I am.
Yep.
Like that one. Cup of coffee. When he's talking about his match with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. And he's like calling that Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, he's having his cup of coffee. And you know where he got that? That's a reference. Don't forget, he used to be a minor league baseball player. And the whole thing, when you go to the majors, what do they call it? A cup of coffee, right?
Yeah, a cup of coffee.
When you get like so that's where that whole thing.
Pages, yep.
Yeah, exactly. So that was where that whole reference came in. But man, bro, I was watching that A&E thing a couple of weeks ago. That whole thing with him and Elizabeth.
Oh yeah,
it was the rivals. It was between Hogan and Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, that dude was paranoid in real life. Like completely paranoid, probably schizophrenic, probably did drugs. I mean, he did, as for as popular as he was and still is to this day. The guy had his demons. There's no question. There's no question about that. The dude had his demons, but people love him. I mean, and rightfully so. Nobody does promos like that anymore. So
no.
It's like, that's like top of the mountain. And number 1, brother. I mean,
come on.
This shouldn't surprise anybody.
Come on.
I mean, it's fucking Hulk Hogan. I mean, come on, man. Listen, I think people have to understand during that time, he was a superhero come to life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
he was like Superman. Yeah. That guy was like Superman for a lot of us. He was like impervious to pain. Mm-hmm. He would Hulk up, do the whole fucking blow. Yeah. Exactly. All of a sudden,
you hit him 3 times and it'd be like, you.
Yeah, exactly. Like between that and between the whole doing the thing, his hands to his ear to get the people to scream, and the iconic fucking song,
24-inch pythons.
Yeah, the 24-inch pythons, the iconic song that they used for him, the bandana, the ripping of the shirt that everybody else tried to do, the promos too. listen, I know a lot of people say it that there might not be a WWF today if it wasn't for him, and I truly do believe that is the case. Regardless of what you think about him, the man behind Hulk Hogan, the character of Hulk Hogan is timeless, and
Oh
that is
yeah,
never going to
100%.
go away.
No, it's never going. Even after he
WrestleMania is,
dies.
Hulkamania is never going to die because if he dies, it's still going to live on in clips and all that other stuff.
I agree.
So, but yeah, that was a good one. Did I have an honorable mention or no? Oh yeah, I said Tito Santana. Some other guys that I thought about. I did think about Bret Hart, and I know Eric's gonna be mad at that because Eric loves Bret Hart.
Bret Hart too.
Yeah.
I even thought about Ricky the Dragon.
Yeah, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's another good one.
I have a few wrestlers, but I left them off just because maybe we could do it at another future date. Was tag teams.
Yeah, I thought about that because you got Demolition.
Because some of them did wrestle singly, but I don't really look at them as single wrestle just by themselves.
Yeah.
To me, they're more if we do a tag team, then they fall into that category.
I mean, look at Bret Hart. He was in one of the most famous tag teams of all time in the Hart Foundation,
and then
with Jim the Anvil Neidhart.
That's a good point because, damn, he might be the only one that really was successful tag team and successful singles.
Yeah, he really is. I'm trying to think of something. Shawn Michaels is another one.
Yeah, but
because he was with Marty Jannetty and the Rockers, and then
do they really hold as? I don't think they could hold the Hart Foundation's jock.
No. Oh, you know what? You just made Eric's day by saying that.
Really? You're welcome.
Yes. You just made Eric's day by saying that. I'm just letting you know.
That's my opinion. Because when people say Shawn Michaels, the first thing that they're going to think of is the Rockers. They're going to think the Heartbreak Kid.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
People will remember the Hart Foundation.
Yeah.
And then they will remember Bret Hart. That's how I look at it. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Oh, okay. Well, that was fun. Do we have anything else? I don't think we have anything else to talk about. I think we're good. Yeah. So that's gonna bring us to the end of episode number 4 of Two Dummies That Just Watch, a sports podcast between friends. Don't forget we're on all the socials, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can find all that information in the description of the podcast, and also patreon.com/Two Dummies Sports Podcast. I'm going to keep it free for another week. I'm going to give y'all another chance to ask a question for another week. So I'm going to put a reminder about that on social media. Maybe I'll make a quick video about that on the Instagram. We'll see. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, Will Hernandez, here for Mr. LeeJay Parrilla, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Later.